Welcome to this deep dive. We've got a really interesting pairing for you today. We're going to be looking at a recent story from BlockDAG Network. Specifically, it's their hashtag inspiring investment story, hashtag 38.
Right, number 38 already.
Exactly. And we're drawing some, well, maybe surprising parallels to the journey of the Inter Milan football club.
Football and crypto, not the most obvious link on the surface.
Not at all. So look, our mission here isn't about giving investment advice, obviously. It's more to explore these shared principles. Early commitment, having that long-term vision, and taking decisive action.
Principles that seem to pop up in both these, well, seemingly very different arenas.
Precisely. So let's maybe kick off with this question. How can a football team, grinding its way to a major championship final, actually teach us something about getting into a crypto project early?
Yeah, and about the mindset of the people who do that.
Exactly. What's that connection?
Well, it's a great starting point. And what jumps out immediately from BlockDAG's update is this focus on sustained effort, consistency over time. Okay.
They point straight to Inter Milan getting to the UEFA Champions League final recently, but after a 5-year journey back to that level.
5 years, that's not insignificant in football.
Oh, definitely not. In top-tier football, 5 years is, it's a long haul. It means serious strategic planning, building the team, keeping performance up. It wasn't just, a flash in the pan.
Right. Not an overnight success story. And BlockDAG seems to be explicitly linking this to their own path.
They are. They mentioned this is their 38th hashtag inspiring investment story. That's what, nearly 9 months they've been consistently sharing their progress.
And 9 months of telling that story.
From just a concept, a layer one idea, to where they are now raising, what was it, over $227 million.
Wow. Yeah. It really highlights that idea, doesn't it? That consistent building, even when you're not making like huge headlines every day, that's often how the real solid progress happens.
It's not about chasing fleeting trends. Now, hold on, just for maybe listeners who are a bit newer to crypto, could you quickly explain what a layer one network actually is? Why is that important as a starting point?
Sure, yeah. So think of layer one as the bedrock. It's the fundamental blockchain itself, like Bitcoin or Ethereum. Those are layer ones.
Okay, the base layer.
Exactly. It's the foundation everything else gets built on top of. So by starting as a layer one, BlockDAG is basically saying, we're building our own core blockchain technology from the ground up.
Which is a pretty ambitious goal.
It's a huge undertaking, yes.
Yeah.
But if they pull it off, the potential impact is, well, potentially massive.
Right. That definitely gives some important context. Now, the BlockDAG update, it also mentions staying the course.
Yeah.
Pushing through criticism or times when maybe progress seems a bit quiet from the outside.
Yeah, and that resonates, doesn't it, with any long-term project?
Absolutely. You can easily imagine Inter Milan facing setbacks, criticism, doubts during those 5 years.
Oh, for sure. In something as competitive as top-flight football or as volatile as crypto, you're always going to hit bumps. There will be challenges, moments of doubt, external pressure.
So the key is sticking with it.
Precisely. It's that ability to, hold on to the long-term vision, keep executing the plan even when things get tough. That seems absolutely vital.
BlockDAG makes that point quite clearly, that momentum isn't just acquired.
Yeah, you don't just find momentum, it's built. It's the result of consistent effort, dedication to those core goals, sustained belief, really.
Okay, let's maybe dig into some of the specifics BlockDAG mentions about their own progress.
Good idea.
They talk about some early pre-sale buyers still benefiting from a very low price, 0.000119, even though the main pre-sale price has gone up quite a bit since then.
It's over 0.0262 thosses now in the later batches.
Right. So what does that difference tell us about getting in early?
Well, it really just underlines a core principle of any early stage investment, doesn't it? The potential for significant upside.
As the project grows.
Exactly. If the project matures, gains traction, achieves its milestones, those who got in early, who took that initial risk based on the vision, that much lower entry price can translate into, well, potentially substantial gains. It's like a reward for that early belief, for acting when others might have waited.
Okay. And they also talk about these buyer battles and claiming over $1 million in BDAG just in the last week.
Yeah, that figure jumped out.
What does that kind of activity suggest about the community, the project's current state?
It suggests pretty strong engagement, I'd say, and growing engagement within their ecosystem.
People are actively participating.
Right. It's not just passive holding. It shows continued belief, continued investment from the community itself, which, can be a really positive signal for momentum and future prospects.
And they've tweaked the referral program too, showing earnings in USD now.
Alongside the BDAG bonus, which is smart, I think.
Why is that?
Well, by showing potential referral earnings in a familiar currency, like US dollars, it just makes the reward feel more tangible, more understandable for maybe a wider group of people.
It's easier to grasp the value.
Exactly. And that can definitely incentivize current users to, spread the word, bring new people in, helps grow the network.
Plus the 25% BDAG bonus for the referrer and 5% cash back for the friend.
Yeah, direct incentives driving that expansion.
Okay, and hitting $227 million raised, that's a big number in this space.
It is. It's a very significant milestone.
What does that kind of funding usually indicate?
Well, fundamentally, it shows considerable investor confidence in the vision, the team, the tech they're proposing.
And it gives them resources.
Exactly. Substantial resources to actually fund the development, the marketing, scaling up operations. It just increases the probability, of them actually achieving what they set out to do.
Makes sense. They also flagged the completion of a CertiK audit. For listeners maybe not deep in the crypto weeds, what is that? Why does it matter?
Right, good question. So CertiK is a well-respected third-party security firm. They specialize in auditing blockchain code, smart contracts, looking for vulnerabilities, security flaws.
So like a security checkup.
A very thorough one, yes.
Yeah.
Successfully passing an audit like CertiK's adds a significant layer of trust and credibility.
Because it shows they're serious about security.
Exactly. It demonstrates a commitment to making the platform secure, reducing the risk of, hacks or exploits down the line. It's a big confidence booster.
Okay. And looking forward, they mentioned exchange listings are imminent. That's always a big deal, right?
Oh, yeah. Getting listed on exchanges is crucial.
Why is that such a key step?
It's all about accessibility and liquidity. Listings mean a much broader range of people can actually buy and sell the token easily.
Opens it up to the wider market.
Precisely. That leads to more market participation, helps with price discovery, and it's just a major step towards, potential mainstream adoption.
And BlockDAG seems to frame all these things. The funding, the audit, the upcoming listings as results of that early community belief.
Yeah, they tie it back to that initial group who acted decisively.
Which brings us neatly to the whole philosophy of their #Inspiring Investment series. They say it's more than just marketing. What's the deeper message you think they're trying to send with these stories?
I think the core message is really about recognizing potential before it's obvious, before everyone else jumps on board.
Seeing it early.
Yeah, they seem to be trying to connect with people who understand that, the really significant opportunities, whether it's wealth creation or making an impact, often emerge when something is still kind of under the radar.
Well, the potential's there, but maybe not widely recognized yet.
Exactly. It takes a bit of independent thought, maybe some conviction to get involved at that stage.
It feels like they're suggesting that window, the early entry window at the current presale stage, might be closing, especially with exchange listings coming up.
That definitely seems to be the implication. It reinforces that idea that acting early can have distinct advantages, and that particular phase might be ending soon.
And that phrase they use, champions rise together, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's evocative.
What's the significance there, do you think?
Well, it fosters that sense of a shared journey, right? Mutual success.
Between the project and the early backers.
Exactly. It suggests BlockDAG's growth isn't separate from the belief of its early community. They're intertwined. It builds a sense of community ownership in whatever happens next.
And calling the early investors courageous for acting when others hesitated.
Yeah, that acknowledges the risk, doesn't it? Early stage is always riskier, so they're kind of celebrating that proactive mindset, the willingness to take that step.
Okay, so BlockDAG is positioning this current pre-sale phase as the last chapter before wider recognition. What does that signal to people who might be looking at it now?
It signals a transition, I think, a move towards broader public availability, likely through those exchange listings. It suggests the chance to get tokens at these pre-sale prices is probably finite, potentially creating a bit of, urgency for anyone still considering it.
And they wrap up with a very direct call to action. Buy, battle, refer, win big.
Yeah, pretty clear.
How does that fit into the bigger picture they've painted?
Well, it's straightforward encouragement to keep participating, isn't it? Highlighting all the ways people can engage buying directly, joining the buyer battles, using the referral system.
And the win big part.
That just underlines the potential rewards, the upside they believe exists for people who get actively involved and, crucially, believe in the project's success.
They keep coming back to belief.
They do, linking it again to Inter Milan's long road and their own progress. It reinforces that theme. Conviction is key.
And framing those early investors as shaping the next era of Web3.
Yeah, that gives it a sense of purpose, doesn't it? Like you're part of building something significant, something transformative, not just speculating.
So, okay, let's try and tie this all together. This deep dive, looking at BlockDAG's update, it's really used this Inter Milan analogy quite effectively, hasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
To show how principles like dedication, having a clear vision, and acting early seem crucial, whether you're in competitive sports or navigating, the pretty complex world of decentralized finance.
Two very different fields, but maybe underpinned by similar fundamentals for achieving significant success. That idea of sustained effort, strong belief.
Absolutely.
And for you, the listener, maybe this whole discussion sparks a thought, right? As technology and finance keep changing so rapidly, often in unexpected ways, where else might you find these surprising parallels? What other seemingly unrelated areas could actually hold valuable lessons if you're looking to spot and get involved with potentially transformative trends early on? That's a great question to ponder. Thinking creatively about where the next big insights might come from.
Exactly. Keep your eyes open for those unexpected connections.